Olympian, BYU track and field head coach, and national champion Ed Eyestone joins us on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline from Tracktown, USA, Eugene, Oregon. Ed, welcome back to the show.
Guys, great to be here.
What's up, Ed?
Man.
I'm putting on the yellow hat on the set.
Oh, wear the yellow hat with
Putting
pride.
on the yellow hat. I got it. Here we go.
Okay, now we can really do this interview. Hey, 15 different athletes at nationals. What does it mean to have that kind of representation from BYU track and field in Oregon?
Well, it's been a long, long time since we've had that many just bodies at the meet. You got to have bodies at the meet to do well at the meet. So we're really proud of the work of my staff and of the student athletes this year, just getting prepared, setting those goals, working hard, and then going into regional and basically hitting it out of the park in terms of qualifying so many people here. So, I think our group of 11 men is the fourth most in the entire NCAA, which was huge. We had 4 women, many of whom have really legitimate shot at scoring and scoring well. So we're really excited about the next 4 days of track and fields here in Eugene.
What's the environment like in Tracktown, USA at Hayward Field for the NCAA Championships right now?
Well, it's like a who's who of track and field, that's for sure. And they were just talking about it yesterday. It's probably one of the best, if not the deepest, well, probably certainly the deepest and one of the best track and field meets in the world every year. So, you got Olympians and future Olympians, you got great pedigrees in terms of just the coaching staff that's out there alone, and just some amazing athletes. So we're very excited, and I think the athletes are pumped, and the idea we're going to work with today as we kind of go into, we got a team meeting in about 10 minutes, so thanks for moving things up a little bit. One of the ideas you're going to pump up is just having a Eugene moment, just taking advantage of this basically the world's one of the world's largest stages to perform on, and have a fantastic Eugene moment.
We have something called the Ed Eyestone exception, and when you request a specific interview time, we will accommodate.
that was great.
Well, it's only for Olympians and national champions.
I do feel like a little bit of a prima donna there, guys, but I do have a meeting coming up, so thank you.
It's Olympians and national champions, basically. That's
okay.
The exception that we make.
That's cool.
We get it.
That's cool.
What kind of a team goal do you have for nationals with the 15 BYU Cougars there?
Well, I think individually the guys just realize where they're at. Maybe some guys came in and they maybe were the last qualifier out of the region, while we have other guys who have a real opportunity. If they weren't the top qualifier, they're in the top 3 or 4. So I think by and large they just want to improve on their position from regional on in. And quite frankly, I think kind of the given goal for everybody once they make it to the meet is first team All-American. To accomplish that means you finish in the top 8, in your event. Now, on the men's side, we did a fantastic job getting people qualified here. 11 athletes, 13 entries. A couple of guys are doubling to Tenda and Clayton Young. But none of them, at least on the form chart, are ranked in the top 8. So I think some of them are feeling a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and quite frankly, sometimes you run faster when there's a little chip on your shoulder, So I think that first team All-American would certainly be a great goal for the guys. It's not going to happen with everybody, but I know that everybody's going to give it their most focused, laser-like intent, and so we're excited with that.
Steve Prefontaine was famous for this saying that said, "If you beat me, you're going to have to bleed for it." Brenna Porter literally bled in Austin, gashed her leg on a hurdle, and this tremendous video came out from BYUCougars.com. She finished that race. You've coached a long time. What kind of performance was that from Brenna Porter to finish that race after a pretty serious gash in her leg?
Well, that just tells you kind of the spirit and competitive fire that she has. And also just, wanting to get out. I mean, she's learned from a very young age that it's important to finish the race regardless. I don't think anybody realized the extent of the injury. She herself said that she just felt like it was really wet there after about the 4th or 5th hurdle. Little did she know that was, it was because she was hemorrhaging from her leg.
Wow.
But it was certainly amazing, kind of motivating sort of performance. And the thing is, she is a young lady who will be here at the national championship meet next year. You can put money on that. She would have been here had she not had that, catastrophic kind of accident with the hurdle last week. So, she's a great athlete that we will continue to watch in the future.
Talking with Ed Eyestone, the Olympian and BYU track and field head coach. He's in Eugene, Oregon, as the Cougars, with 15 athletes, prepare for the national championships in 2017. Coach, what has made the difference this year compared to previous years when you don't take as many athletes as you have this year to the big show of NCAA track and field?
Yeah, if we had the answer for that, then we would bottle it and we would make sure that we took a little of that each year. I think part of it is just the level of expectation now that we have in terms of, for the first few years, we were really, hyping up the importance of making it to regionals. And I think sometimes, which is the first round of the NCAAs. And so I think athletes were super stoked, super excited when they made it to regionals. But in essence, I think there was kind of a mentality that, hey, we have arrived. The last year or so, we've really said, okay, it's important to make it to regionals, but really nationals is where you want to be at. And so I think the level of expectation has just changed. And I think we had athletes going into the regional meet, not just kind of as regional tourists, but as, regional competitors who were bound and determined to punch their ticket to Eugene. And it's like a lot of things, like a basketball or football game. If those first few events turn out well, then the level of belief and expectation rises among the athletes. And I think that's what we saw at the last regional meet. And a lot of times we've gone into these regional meets and come out just on the bad side of making it, just missing. And then athletes see that and their whole kind of spirit is daunted. But I think this year the athletes started experiencing, we had a couple of guys qualify in the very first day in the 10,000 meters, and then people saw that, were excited by that, said, hey, I want some of that as well.
Ed, what do you expect from Shea Collinsworth at Nationals?
Yeah, Shea certainly is our highest-rated returning athlete going into the meet, and she's had an amazing career, all the school records and whatnot that she has, and she finished third in a very competitive 800 meters last year, and so certainly Shea, and the crazy thing is this year's women's 800 meter is even more deep and more talented. I mean, she could literally run the best race of her life, and there are maybe four other women who are capable of also, running really great times. So and that 800 is such a dicey event anyway. Anything can happen. It's a great combination of speed and endurance. So we're looking forward to her. We know that on her best day, she's capable of running with literally the best in the world. She's going to have her work cut out for battling Raven Rogers, who's a hometown girl, competing for the Ducks. And so who the crowd is going to be screaming for. But you know what? When you're coming down that home stretch and the noise from the crowd comes up, you don't care if they're screaming for you or against you. You're just going to power your way to the finish line. And that's what we're hoping to see from Shea.
Coach Ed Eyestone on BYU Sports Nation. We'll let you get to your meeting now. Jerem's still wearing the yellow hat, and we'll wear that as a rally cap of sorts and give you some BYU Sports Nation karma for the BYU Cougars in Tracktown, USA.
Fantastic. Yeah, send some good karma our way over the next 4 days, and we'll hope to be sending as many first-team All-Americans home as possible.
Great stuff. Thanks, Ed. We'll be watching.
Thanks, Ed.